Hello everyone. So let us continue our discussion on the module 1 on introduction to polymers. So we previously discussed about the various types of classifications in the polymers, and today we will look into what are the different types of bonds that can be present in a polymer system. So, as I told you before, this bonding thing came after the work of the Hermann Staudinger. He was known as the father of the polymer science. He was the one who actually brought in the concept of macromolecules. So, his work is very prominent. So, let us factually look into what are all the different types of bonds that are possible in a um, kind of in a polymer molecule. So there are two types of bond that are possible. One type of bonds are basically the primary bonds that are responsible for the macromolecules. Which are all the primary bonds? Let us look into. So various primary bonds that can be possible in different types of polymer. Be it so here when I talk about the polymers, I'm not just talking in general about the organic polymers, but also inorganic and other forms of polymers as well. So that is why you will have, apart from the covalent bond, which is the major share of the primary bond in the organic based polymer molecule, but inorganic polymers can have ionic bonding as well. Okay, so ionic bonding would be the prominent kind of bonding that you will find in the inorganic based polymer. So here I'm not going to discuss about each type of bonding, because you are well aware about these bonds through your understanding of inorganic chemical bonding chapter. Okay, so ionic bonding, coordinate bonding, metallic bonding, these are kind of bonding that you'll find in polymers concerned with the inorganic chemistry. Okay, so when I'm here going to talk about mostly about the organic based polymers, so here the major share of the bonding is coming from the covalent bonding. So each of the monomer units are usually linked via covalent bonds to form the primary bonding in the polymers. Okay, apart from covalent bonding, you have other share of bonding also. We have like coordinate bonding, metallic bonding, and ionic bonding as well. As though here I have written down that the coordinate bonding is not very common type in polymers. Okay, so that you can put a note into. Okay, but other forms of bonds you will definitely find in these polymers. Okay, now, when another, apart from the primary bonding that is responsible for the macromolecules, you can have secondary bonding as well. Okay, so secondary bonding can be of the type dipole forces, induction forces, dispersion forces, or hydrogen bonding. Hydrogen can be both inter or intra molecular hydrogen bonding possible. So again, I'm not going to discuss these forces. You are pretty aware of these forces. I've given briefly the definition in here. And what is the importance of these secondary forces? Because these secondary forces particularly are powerful when we talk about polymer as such, because if we talk about the polymers, if I talk about linear polymers, when a polymer matrix is considered, it has number of polymer molecules. Okay, so these secondary forces that I have talked in here, these are basically coming into play between the various polymer chains. Okay, and that interaction through the secondary bond forces like dipole forces, induction forces, dispersion forces, or hydrogen bonding are responsible for the properties that you find in these polymers. So some of them are pretty volatile: viscosity, surface tension, friction, miscibility, solubility. All these properties are coming as a result of the intermolecular forces, okay, which are basically the interaction between the various polymer chains, and that gives each polymer its specific properties, that is its viscosity, its surface tension, its volatility, friction properties, miscibility, solubility. All this is dependent upon all these secondary forces. So that is why the not only the understanding of the primary bonding is important, but rather the understanding of the secondary forces is also equally important. Okay, we should understand how the functional groups are present in the polymer molecule, and thereby try to understand what are all the different types of secondary interactions possible among the polymer chain. That would give us a better understanding about the different types of polymers. So this is just to recap you. So if there are dipole uh, present in your polymer system, they can interact via dipole-dipole interaction. If suppose you have this kind of NH species, they can form hydrogen bonding with the oxygenated carbonyl. Okay. Apart from that, if you do not have any charged species, but more of the non-polar moieties, they will lead to the respective London forces. Okay. So I hope you understood that the different types of bonding that are possible in the polymers. That is, one is the primary bonding, another is the secondary bonding. Primary bonding is responsible for the formation of macromolecules. However, secondary forces or the secondary bonding are the ones that are responsible for the various physical properties that the polymer shows. Okay, so understanding of both these is important when we study about polymers. So in your course, we are not going to go too much into details about these things, but when you take up polymers in your advanced PG studies, you will learn more about the properties that each polymers show on the basis of these intermolecular forces. Otherwise, for this particular course, you just need to have a basic understanding about what are all the different types of forces and just a definition about what they are. Okay, so all these discussions you will find in any of the polymer textbooks, so you can go through them. And so that's it for today. Till next video, have a nice day.